Today is August 20th, and this is Gold Robotics. A lot of progress today. We had a long work day, a good 6 hours, so we'll get to it. I'll start with my stuff first because it's pretty simple. It's this top stuff, I think. See that? That's the gear system that I have, and I'll show you how I built it over here. So it's Drivetrain, by the way. I worked on Drivetrain today, finally building. This is me starting. It took a while because I wanted to, just been busy doing stuff, but this is it. And that's not a really good view. Yeah, there we can kind of get in there. But it's 7-to-1, and then I have idle gears in between. 7-to-5, but I have idle gears in between.
7-to-1.
Yeah, we gotta zoom in. Yeah, it's like a flywheel for, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's about it. So right now I have this Omni wheel in the middle. We're kind of short on flex wheels right now, so there's some prototypes that I want to try out. This guy is kind of like a really jank wheel. I was trying to get find something that can have a lot of traction so it can't be pushed side to side. So I'm thinking like maybe something like this, or maybe like a flex wheel, or maybe just dropping down one of the grippier wheels and then finding a way how to do that in gear ratio and make it still work. But
you should explain why you went shorter.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is a lot shorter than what I usually build. Yeah, this is the long bar is like 32 long, and so that it goes past the drivetrain. So the reason why I did that was because I want there to be like a intake in front. So like if this was standing up, and then in the front, right? Yeah, thank you, Clayton. Then in the front, I can have like an intake that sticks out past it, so that we can get stuff like in corners and like if it's on the wall and not run into it, just to pick up discs a little bit easier. And so I think maybe shortening down that will be cool, or good to do. But also, if that doesn't turn out to be what I want to do, it's just as simple as changing these idle gears to five wide instead of 3 wide gears. So
What tooth is that?
336.
36?
Yeah, just whatever times 12. Onto Reese. Reese has been doing a lot of work, a lot of thinking work.
A lot of thinking. So I'm in this. Yeah. I had last you saw me. I had this little thing right here, and as you can see, I have a secondary intake wheel right here going up. But to get to this position was a lot of trial and error. I had to take across my connection, find another one, and then also had to figure out a way of introducing a ramp, figure out how I was going to fit that ramp in, and where I was going to have the platform for my secondary intake for my turret, where that turret was going to go. It was a lot of trying to figure out how to put this to where everything else would fit. It was very difficult. Clayton is kind of mad at me because we took apart and re-put something on like 4 different times. It was terrible.
And then we moved it somewhere else, and then we didn't have to move it again.
Yep. He came up with that idea. I was stuck. But it was just, we did that. We've gone through a bunch of iterations I can show you on the board. If Bobby will follow me.
I will follow you. I'll follow you anywhere, Reese.
Okay. So right after we finally figured out the bottom connection, I started to test about where the next flex wheel was supposed to go to where I can get it onto a flat platform for the turret. And for me to do that, I had to get some bars across. I found a general location where I had to do it, but then I had to figure out how I was going to implement a ratchet, which is what I'm using. I'm going to use a ratchet to also, whenever I'm going backwards, do a roller. And I came up first with this design, where I have a motor off into the side going into the ratchet and then sprocketed, and also into a sprocket. Sprocket's going to the flex wheel, spinning the intake, and then the ratchet's going to another axle which spins the roller. that was my whole first design. It was way too complicated and just not what we needed. But I thought I needed to do it that way because we had other stuff right here in the way. But then we came up with another design that Bobby kind of helped out with. When we shrunk the area that the disc was fitting in to make it tighter, and which gave us just enough room to fit a motor across, and having the ratchet go on the other side and doing this. And then we do the gear into the sprocket. But then we realized that we can do a sprocket ratchet, basically bolting the sprocket to the gear on the same axle and having the sprocket a free spin sprocket. And by doing that, we can have just everything on one axle and all the way across, which is the hopefully final design that we'll need for that.
Don't worry, we still have 8 months.
This is a lot simpler than that.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Oh, but it was a lot of thinking and a lot of working through problems. Yeah, it's worth it. We finally got through that.
Okay, so now I'll get to what Vincent has been working on. We'll go over here. He has been a lot of prototyping and testing and stuff. But he's built a mount for this flywheel. So, yeah.
Just a double flywheel.
Yeah. The advantages of the double flywheel are
Double the speed. And, yeah.
Yeah. So theoretically,
That's basically.
it's double the speed. Like in physics, it doesn't always turn out like that. But also, you don't have any spin with it. So, I don't know. We've seen a lot of videos of it hitting the goal and then bouncing out because it just spins off. Or, if you have it, facing like more at an angle, it'll decelerate quicker because it has like air resistance that it's going against. I don't know. We're trying it out because if we're doing short range, we might not have to worry about like it rolling. And if we don't have to worry about it rolling, we don't have to worry about like getting off, because if it's like facing this way and going forward, then it's gonna try to go to the right or left. So we're seeing if we can get a consistent double flywheel, because then that will save on power because you're not wasting power spinning. So Vince has been working on that. That's really been a big help. We're also testing trajectories and stuff like that. Now I get to what Audie's working on, which is, oh yes, this is really nice.
So the first thing that Nathan, Cyrus, and I did was, this is, 12th time this season, we reinvented the drivetrain, more like a modification. We just moved these wheels a little bit inwards to make more room for our intake. And this is our intake prototype so far. Nathan first presented the idea of using linear slides for suspension, otherwise known as suspension. So it works. You can lift it up and down and it'll spin, and you can get about 2 discs lifted up inside of there. So it's really nice just for intake, and we're honestly surprised it works so well. So we're just messing around with that for now.
Talk about the polycarb.
I completely forgot. So we have polycarb inserts that
CNC'd.
CNC'd, yes. And we also did some jank stuff like this by using the bandsaw. We don't talk about it, but they work out very well. Just have to take notes of certain limits, and it saves a lot of weight. It's definitely a lot better than using metal inserts from what we've gathered. So shaping up to be an exciting season so far.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's going to be really helpful to have the lightweight inserts on the intake, and then maybe we can use the heavier inserts with the flywheel because, we do want the mass. But that's it for today.
Actually, we got a milling machine today.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome too. That guy's pretty nice. But besides that, that's it for today. And so see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.